Hey guys, just going to be doing a couple quick things today. Well, for now anyway. Um, what am I? Oh, I'm already full. Okay. First thing I'm going to be doing is an updated tier list for PVE with the new scale of heroes. There's the PvP list really hasn't changed. Everything's the same. A lot of people maybe want to rethink the Dominique positioning, but I really don't think that she deserves to be tier one quite yet. Um, Before, I still considered her to function the exact same way, where she gets her one shot, but the dodge doesn't really protect her because it's too easy to stack crit. I I placed her before with the understanding that she always kills whatever in one shot already, even without the defense ignore. There's ways to make her insanely strong. I've seen some 50-some thousand attack Dominiques with the new way that defense works, being a lot stronger. It shouldn't have affected Dominique too much. With her armor ignore, she should be able to still one shot almost anything in the game. Though we're going to be seeing a lot of insane tanks being built going into the future now. That being said, I know that there's no Dominiques yet that can one-shot my Bearman, and Bearman's got the advantage. Bearman has the disadvantage strategy with Dominique, so that's a little bit puzzling so far. But maybe just we don't have any strong enough players using Dominique again yet, or maybe they kind of feel that she's exactly the same as she was before. So that's definitely my opinion. I don't think that she has gotten better enough to be tier one yet. To be honest, I don't think that with a one range skill as a melee character you could ever be considered tier one. It's such a huge disadvantage to not be able to just hit from miles away that I cannot how she would be the best in every situation instead of just the one situation. So like top tier characters generally have like very few situations where they're going to be unfavored. When you're not beside a character is an extremely common thing. So it's not. It's very hard to always get first strike. Sorry, just let me mute my phone for a second. It's very hard to get first strike with a melee character compared to a ranged character, and especially considering defense. It's just she seems a pretty gimmick still with her dodge mechanic. There's no way to make her in a way where she's not going to get one shot herself. So I don't feel that she deserves to be quite tier one yet. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I will rethink her positioning. Personally, I think that Rage is a better hero than Dominique. Though it is mostly just because his skills are more functional. So let's just compare Dominique and Rage for a minute, just to get a better view. So Rage's skill, let's see, what does this max out at? All right, so it's going up 5.9. I'm going to call that 6% per level. 6 at 9. 36% more. Is that right? No, that's not right. That's right. Is this skill just really weak? Let me inspect somebody. Rage is really damn strong. What the hell am I doing? Battle of Honor. Battle of Honor. Silly. I can just go into here to see like half the strongest players in the game. Alright, who's got a nice one? There we go. Only 138k. That was weird. Alright, this is a pretty damn strong. Maxed out. Yeah. Oh, he even maxed the basic skills. Alright, so 196.1%. I knew something was wrong with my brain. Alright, so 196%. So that's the same as the old Lee skill 3. So it's actually, this is the exact same skill. It's just his ignore only works on scissor type. But it also restores some MP too, which is that's a pretty nice perk. Anyway, he's got 4 range. His second skill is an area around him, which gives him dodge. So if dodge actually is practical to be using against your opponent and building, then Rage's is a little bit more practical because he doesn't need to be able to kill somebody to turn it on. He doesn't even need to be exactly right up beside him. He can hit things in an area. So that's a little bit more practical than Dominique's passive, where she absolutely has to kill something, because generally she's too squishy. She's going to get killed earlier. Now, Rage isn't tankier than Dominique by any means, but he does have the range to him. So he is like, when you can consider Dominique's 1 range and 5 movement to Rage's 4 range and 4 movement, it's very simple. One's 8 and one's 6. So Rage is just more practical. He's a better hero all around. There's a huge dominance of scissor characters right now, and I think it's actually given Rage a good place, because I think he might even outdamage Dominique in some cases. Also, this is a way better passive. This passive is, well, first off, it's almost guaranteed. When you're under control, like, you're going to be able to pick your targets a lot easier when you're under control, especially like on the bridge map. The bridge map is like one of the sorry, especially in square map, the bridge map is one of the ones where you're kind of stuck with what you get. But this Rage, like, this is Blue Sapphire's Rage. He's obviously not your average player at all. Damn. That's a pretty nice roll. But he's not your average player at all. He is basically, like, this is like the limits of Rage. With the exception, his potentials probably aren't amazing on his gear, but he's got the sets all lined up nice and perfect. Let's take a look at that crit rate and hit rate. Maybe he needs a bit more crit rate. Hit rate's not bad, but 55% defense. Damn. It's because all good sets come with brooches. This is yeah, that's a brooch too. Pink, pink, and pink. If only the attack was the pink one. Anyway, it's enough looking at this. But Rage is just going to be more practical. Also, his passive actually is going to help you. Dominique's passive might help you on the lower levels where people just don't have good potentials, or they don't have hit rate stacked high enough yet to be able to hit Dominique. But you can't say a character is great because players are bad. Players aren't good enough is not a good way to judge how good a character is going to be. So Rage is still definitely better than Dominique, though. Dominique's third skill is like 250 or 260%. Like, let's see this. 258%. Like, that's a huge, 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 huge hit. That's like saying, because it is a modifier. Now, all the modifiers, like, modifiers are all equal. So, just to give you an idea of numbers, that is... Now, correct me if I am wrong, though. That is equal to, let's say, all right, so the other was 196. This is 258. So that's a difference of 62.1%. That's like perfect damage potentials, and 20, like, plus another 20%. It's like having an extra 60% damage on Dominique's stuff. So, like, there's no doubt about her potential to do a huge amount of damage. I like how the HP damage she does to herself is actually a percentage of her max HP instead of anything else. But she basically gets one shot with this, one shot, one kill, then she dies herself. This is an awesome passive if dodge was really, really good, but it's just not. Like, she's got the highest base dodge in the game already, so she's still better at PvE, where she could actually dodge things like a champ. But the thing is, against a boss in PvE, now she kill boss every turn. So, like, what's the comparison? What's so great about Dominique? Other than her outfit, of course. But again, she's still not, like, if this. I'll tell you right straight up, Lee does more damage than Dominique. And he does it from 5 range away. Like the only thing that's really amazing about Dominique is this skill only costs 92 mana. Like that's cool. That it's so cheap, but it's other than that, I can't really say that she's good enough to be tier one. Um, there's a lot of characters that basically can guarantee getting a kill without having the drawback of being a melee character. So anyway, some people might disagree about that. Dominique isn't a bad hero. She's still definitely like if I'm going to put her in tier two, but she's probably the number one character in tier two, just because she does have that seemingly guaranteed kill. But well, we'll see how things shape up with armor in the future. There still might be a lot of people who are getting insane armor characters, and it's just she might not even be able to do that. And she's kind of squishy enough where a good enough tank might be able to kill her because she'll be built for pure damage and killing. So we'll see how things go into the future. But you wouldn't want to have a character. Your characters that are focused on attack, it's not good to waste all of your potentials. Like, say you had stun, confusion, and charm immunity. That would be awesome, right? But on your DPS character, that just costs you like a minimum of 10% crit. What's going to be actually more practical? To have pure immunities or a bunch of crit? Like, I like to have my characters. I'm aiming for charm immunity or stun immunity, depending on the position they're in and what they generally get run up against. My third slot character is the only character that I would prefer to have both charm and stun immunity because they're often paired up against Serendi for charm immunity. They're going to need that. Also, if my tank gets charmed, he will very frequently stun my third my third slot. So either get charm immunity on my tank, which I feel is a bit of a waste also, because I do prefer to have the flat defense buff of between 3 and 400 for potentials on my tanks also. So immunities are so good that it's so rare. Well, I should say so rare, not so good, but they're so rare that it's kind of better just to like there's no way anyone in their right mind is going to re-roll an immunity, but it doesn't mean that it's actually all that much better than the actual stats in terms of practical output. So I have charm immunity on my Serendi already, so that's great. I do want charm immunity on my Bearman. I could care less about stun immunity. I could very. He's not high priority to get charm immunity on, to be completely honest either, because how often he gets charmed and then goes to stun one of my other characters is very, 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 very rare, and usually in a game where it's not even close to being a close match. Now, when everybody's got super topped out teams, we'll see. Obviously, my team's a bit too strong to be compared to a majority of the players, so it's not really a fair comparison anyway. But we'll see as the game gets refined, more people start tapping out and doing minor refinements because their maximum, so because their major refinements are all done. Anyway, but that's that. Dominique's still not going to go anywhere. PBE wise, we have a new hero, Yekaterina. This one right here. She is insane. You know what? I'm so happy I got the Klein set because it's totally going to be going. What? He's just got a spare ghost step to put on Katarina? Really? This is what you're doing for storage? Better equip this to Katarina. I think that she would be better off with a Pathfinder. But you know, no, maybe Ghost Step is a good choice for her. The Klein set's definitely going to be a good one because she's going to have a really expensive skill here. I think it's on online to be as much as Jenny's third skill. I could be wrong, but it's going to be really up there. But she's got this interesting new system. So it uses these charges. Now charges are represented by this little boomed out sword symbol. They'll be above Yekaterina's head when she's in a match. Like, so you can tell how many charges you have. You just got to count how many swords you got above you. She's going to be one of the only characters where you have to max the passive first. Otherwise, there's like no sense for anything else. Everybody generally is going for the passive first. I've got the max passive. I think I'm going to be going for max sleep next. Now the sleep, unfortunately, like her skills aren't normal. The scale of hers, let's go check her out on mine. The scale of her sleep is actually really high compared to a lot of other characters. I'm still collecting a bunch of 4 stars. I'm going to rebirth like 7 characters all at the same time. It'll be fun. Where are we at? Oh yeah, skills. So this costs to upgrade 19 genes at stage 1. That is very high. Like the passive didn't. The passive's a lot cheaper. The passive's like 12. This is 6. Then this should be 12, but it starts at 19 because it's such a great effect. This was right in line with 12 though. The third skill has an 80% disarm chance if you get 4 charges. That's going to be impractical in PvP. It's going to be fucking insane in PvE though. Yekaterina is the area type character of choice, literally forever now. As soon as you're able to get Yekaterina, you raise her, you max her. That's what you do. Everybody's going to start saving their perfect genes for this hero now because she is so good. Now maybe it's a bit of a waste to not save them. To invest them into characters that you can use to make yourself better until you are able to get her. But if I was able to do Tower 110 without Lena or without any kind of buff abuse with like a confusion bug and things that kind of stop the boss from working properly. I believe he's supposed to heal everything naturally himself. I don't think it's his skill that casts, but it just works like I think confusion works as a stun. And there was the bug with Charm PvP right now. I think they fixed that. I don't know if they fixed it yet. But yesterday it wasn't working. Charm, they would just walk up and they wouldn't attack. But there was a couple bugs with the way a couple mechanics worked, and some people were able to beat the Tower 110 boss through shenanigans. I don't know if Nexon's going to get on top of that and fix it, or if it's just like a legitimate strategy to actually beat the boss. But you don't actually need those characters to be able to beat the 110 boss, especially seeing as how percent HP is an immunity on that boss. But this is going to be the character that's going to be a heck of a lot more practical. Now, at maximum, her additional damage for the 4 charges inflicts 35,000 additional damage that ignores defense. Excuse me. And it's an 80% disarm rate. And it's basically Jilin in both directions for the disarm, or Chani in both directions. Sonic Boom. It's a very popular hitbox, only she's going both sides. So she's got like an insane box. Now, her second skill is also like kind of a cool hitbox. It's just like Kai and here have these extra ones just because. It's a weird hitbox. And the way that it works, it's basically 2 in all directions, and it counts diagonals as directions instead of your typical way to do this kind of skill. But there's going to be a lot of times where these corners are actually very, very helpful in being able to launch your skill. But this is 100% sleep, and it's a 2-turn sleep. The only way to cure sleep is with an Omni set that can remove debuffs, as well as being attacked. If you get attacked, you wake up. So people are in the top levels are going to have to be like, does this person have an Omni set if they're going to incorporate Yekaterina in their team? Because they're going to want to be using her for her sleep. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her throwing this stuff on different tanks and things like that. A lot of people building huge defense characters. Maybe Yekaterina is going to be the answer to that, where she comes in, she takes like the number 3 slot, for example, where I used to use Kai. She comes in, boom, puts everything to sleep, and hits them for a little bit. Now they're within range to be taken up by a one-shot smack. But Yekaterina is very good. Her 4 charges is going to be hard to do. Now, she gets on turn start, on skill use, and on the kill, she gets up to an 80% chance at max to generate a charge. And the charges last 2 turns. So on turn 1, she would only get 1 for using this skill. Is very unlikely that she would be able to kill somebody with her second skill the way she is. Maybe she had got a Klein set, some really awesome potential. She might be able to take out one of the squishier characters. But let's say it's the square map, for example. You got 2 or 3 characters around where your tank used to be. She comes in the third slot. She hits 3 characters and puts them to sleep. how much damage can she do? Is she able to kill another character yet? Well, this skill actually, if you're looking at the numbers here, has a higher percent modifier than the third skill. Now let's just take a look at how it levels up. It's only going up 3.2 per level, so it's not going to be stronger overall, I don't believe. This is going up 5.1. Yeah, so it's not going to be stronger overall, but it's going to be a fairly strong second skill compared to a lot. I think the average is around 150%. This is going to be going up 3 at 9, 19, 27 more, so let's say it's 30% more, so it'll be 160%, which is pretty cool. Let's compare it to somebody else. What's Soraka's skill? 163. You're not maxed. You're not maxed. The hell with you. Oh, that's a heal. God damn it! Come on. 162. Okay, so no, she's gonna be right on par. Looks like. Oh, that's a really low one. You're a weak tank, so that's why you got high skills. You're amazing, so that's why you have higher. Low, but you have huge attack to compensate too. That's pretty high, actually. Oh, OP. Jack OP again. Hooray, only one skill away. Now that he's nerfed into the ground, who cares? Oh yeah, so I guess she's going to be right on par. But this sleep effect is going to be so broken. She only needs one charge for it to be a 100% chance. It starts at level 155. It goes up 5% per level, as you can see. So it has another 45%. That's a 100% chance to cause sleep. That's pretty good. It's really good. Now she's definitely going to have it generate on turn 1. So there's going to be the odd time, which is why I think she might not be used in PvP at all. There will be the odd time where she doesn't generate a charge on turn 1. It's going to be 1 in 5 matches ish. But the problem is going to be there. So in those situations, it's going to be, well, is she able to fire her third skill, which does more damage, and will it be enough damage to kind of mitigate the fact that she won't be able to put everything to sleep at 100% rate all the time turn 1? Is that going to be able to clinch her spot? So that's the only problem I have with her in PvP. PvE-wise, though, she's going to be broken as shit. Turn 1, it doesn't activate, whatever. She'll just come throw this down. She'll kill something. And she'll generate 2 charges. Next turn, she'll generate a 3rd charge for the turn starting. Then she'll go and cast the sleep. Now, the 4th charge is going to be kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. Just because it seems like it's really hard to get the 4 charges. You're not going to be able to get the 4th charge without using your basic skill, it doesn't look like. Just use a skill, kill somebody, get 1 at the start. So if you are able to kill. Now, if you kill the huge area, I'm not quite sure. It's on enemy when she finishes enemies. It says enemies. So I don't know if it generates 1 charge for finishing enemies or 1 charge per enemy. If it's 1 charge per enemy, it's going to be easy as shit. You can probably go around firing this skill if they're either dead or they're disarmed. Dead or disarmed. Dead or disarmed. It's going to be great. But the second skill is probably going to be the most practical one. I'm definitely going to be maxing the second first myself because it's going to be a lower mana cost. It's going to be doing good enough damage once I have a Klein set on her. And it's just going to be putting things to sleep left, right, and center. She's going to be turning threats off all day long. So she's going to be definitely a huge badass of a hero, and I can't wait to have her max. It could probably take another 2 months for her to be practical. Some people who are better with their saving might even have her practical right now. I know Studmaster has both the 3rd and the 4th skill max and a couple levels in the 1st, 2nd skill. I don't know also if this increases the charges it generates as it levels up, but it's a pretty good basic skill. Already at level 1 doing 148%. So it's a pretty strong first skill, I'd like to think. It's got a decent area coverage too. Anyway, that's she's going to be tier 1 PvE for sure. Alright, now let's consider all the other heroes. There were a lot of changes. Chris is going to be moving down to tier 3. I believe I put her in tier 2 before for PvE as like the only paper tank. She's going down to tier 3 because this skill is currently bugged. I'll reconsider it later if they fix it. But it'll probably be a while before it fixes. This, I demonstrated in a PvP video how her damage mitigation works. And it takes pure damage from the total amount before defense is added in. from either side. So I target Serenity, for example. I do a crap ton of damage to Serenity. Chris takes damage that would have been dealt to 29.8% of the damage that would have been dealt to Serenity before Serenity's defense is applied. So if I was going to, if Serenity had 60% defense, like this amazingly, hugely defensive Serenity has 60% defense, and I do 100,000 damage, she would take 40% of that. So she would take 40,000 damage. Now, you would think of the 40,000 damage, 29.8% of that would now go to Chris. But it's not like that. Chris takes 29.8% of the 100,000 damage. So she would take almost 30,000 damage. And then Serenity would take 30% less after her, or it's probably before. So she would probably take the 70,000 damage, and then her armor would be applied to that. It doesn't really matter because it is a multiplication thing, so it wouldn't really matter which order. It would be applied to the target, I believe. But for Chris, she takes unmitigated damage, so she's going to be taking tons of extra damage. It would have where you would have taken less damage overall if your other character just took that damage. So she's broken right now. She needs to be fixed. Until then, she's definitely going to be. Let's just put her into tier fucked up because that's what she is. And no changes for characters like Kai or Chenny. They're still just as amazing as they were before. Serenity's definitely still one of the best ones. Bearman, actually, I'm thinking is probably the best tank in the game now over Jack because Jack doesn't have as amazing sustain as he did before. And Bearman, man, if you're watching my tower videos, Bearman's tanking it from all the way across the map. Like his defensive power and HP and just aggro in general is just through the. He's so amazingly useful for PvE. He's definitely still the best PvE tank. Now let's compare him. Let's go with new characters here. Let's compare him to Lance. Now Lance will have higher defense. Now again, with Lance, I don't know what it is with Nexon, but they always want to give him some kind of restriction because they think that his skill is too overpowered. Like they gave him taunt, so he's the only character that has the ability to taunt now. But he has to stay in the same place. Now, that is good-ish if you're fighting just the boss. If you're fighting just the boss, this is good. Now, he still doesn't have any aggro, which is the shitty part. Like, he needs some freaking aggro. So he's got two choices. One, he either lowers his movement, or two, he doesn't get the benefit of his skill. Which is stupid. I still don't like him. It's definitely got no PvP practicality. He's going to be a 4 slot. Like tanks generally do not get to act in PvP very often. Generally, they're just there to make sure all the AIs come and attack and get all grouped together so your attackers or your area attackers can go in and sweep the entire team. Like that's generally the role of a tank in PvP. The PvP tank isn't generally dealing the damage. With the exception of some people who have sneaky jacks, like super huge crit rate jacks. There's a few of those lying around. But again, like Lance is not going to be one of those characters that you can have like a sneaky build or do something that kind of wrecks people and nobody knew. And like there's no tricks that you can do here. Okay, what else do we want to say about this? I think I'm pretty sure that's it. There's nothing really else to say about Lance. His taunt just isn't as cool as I wish it should be. If it just applied all the time, I would reconsider his position because then he's working completely different. Instead of the way that it works now, I would like for them to change his passive, keep this, and then just add when Lance attacks an enemy, taunts the enemy. At like whatever, it could be a percent rate or something like that. But this condition of him being unable to move makes it seem like it's only ever going to work on bosses. It'd be cool to use on bosses, so long as that boss doesn't have a basic skill that is really, really, really strong. Now, like if you're checking out the tower bosses and stuff, it seems like their first skill is the one that's crushing people a lot of the time. Like they've made like the basic skills. Like maybe they'll have like their passive and just the basic skill. Like those are just the only things that they have sometimes. or the second skill is some kind of great setup thing, but the basic skill is the one that's bringing the pain a lot of the time, because they're anticipating, like they designed this, but they don't want people to have cheesy ways to just beat their levels. They want the levels to be practical and hard to beat, which is why they've given percentage HP immunity to bosses now. So this is still not a practical skill. It's just not. It's There's going to be a lot of good times to use it, but it's still very situational. It's not as good as tanking the entire map from all corners. Not even close. So he's definitely not going to be moving up too far. I forget where I put him before, if it was tier 3 or tier 2, but I would say he's good enough to be tier 2 now. But on the tail end, like he's maybe a 2.1, but he's definitely not tier 3 if that's where I put him before. Okay, who else has changed? Sonic Boom, still not that great. You want to think that he's amazing, but it's just not. This is just going to make him kind of as strong as a lot of other heroes, but he's like this skill, what is it? 200%, 199. So same as Chenny. Like he's basically the weak version of Chenny until you can get Chenny. That's all. Chenny's still got higher damage potential than Sonic Boom. So if you have Chenny, it's not like you're going to drop Chenny for Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom's just got this extra skill. Maybe if they removed instant death and gave him armor ignore, not a huge one, like 2500, 2500, it would be comparable. It's just he's not going to be able to do as much damage. Like his passive is obviously situational, but situationally better than Chenny's. Chenny's is situational too, but the situation is generally turn 1, which is every time. So Chenny's, a lot of people would like to think of as a situational passive, but it's literally, because it's always turned on at the start of battle, it's literally a guaranteed benefit. The only time is when somebody else is in control, they could go and target your Chenny. Whereas Sonic Boom's, like, the thing is, well, I guess that's a bit of a moot argument. If somebody's going to target your attacker in the square map first turn, they're going to kill it, so it's not really that big of a deal. But Chenny is still better than Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom's definitely tier 2 now because he's kind of raised, they raised his roof to be a lot better. Frul is one of the tops of tier 1 now. His skill is a heck of a lot better now. It's kind of funny that paper enemies take more damage now because there's like no strong defensive paper characters that are like actually used. Raboff is got high stats. Like Raboff is a very defensive paper unit, but he kind of is not the greatest. He's one of the he's more of a specialist tech choice. He's not like a solid tank for your team. He's like, you know what, this might maybe a really good time where Raboff is going to be great. That's where he kind of fits in. And this is going to be the only time where this is actually useful, because otherwise he's strong enough to just one-shot everybody anyways. He might even be able to kill Raboffs in one hit without this paper advantage. What does this skill max out at? Going up by 6 every turn. It's another 36. Yeah, so he's like 196 again too, or whatever. Maybe 194, I wasn't really paying attention. But his passive is way better. It's 26% crit damage than characters like Jenny. Frul's stats, if you don't know, Frul's stats and his skills are so much higher than Jenny's comparatively that even though he only has 26% crit damage, he still damages Jenny. What's also nice is Frul's is tied with Lee for the high crit rate in the game, so he's much easier to cap out and crit. Anyway, moving on here. Frul, top 1. Like he's going to be top tier for PvE also, just because he's going to be doing crap tons of damage. The paper advantage thing is a lot more practical in PvE, because there's going to be a heck of a lot more paper bosses, and bosses can always take extra damage. So that's a much better, more practical version of him now. I really like the way that they've taken a strong character and they've made him extra appealing instead of just taking unappealing characters and make them playable. Who else? Jack's still tier 1. Like, It's just you got to think of him. Like I've said this a lot now, but Jack is more of a DPS that's a defensive type. His percentage HP thing is totally an aspect of it that is focused around damage. It's just they thought, well, with this amazing skill, we'll make him a defensive type and make his attack stats not so great to kind of mitigate it, so he can be both. Jack is the role of tanky DPS, but he's not a tank. He's a tanky DPS, and he still does that really good. Sure, he can't sustain himself like a beast anymore, but if the health on the boss is high enough, like he's still not that bad. It's just maybe he needs to have Serenity throw her second skill down on him, or Nirvana or something like that. Maybe he might need a healer depending on the level. Like there, maybe you could just use your Lord heal. But he's still definitely tier 1. Okay, what else do we have for major changes? Like a lot of the changes are just completely negligible. There was a lot more indirect buffs and debuffs to characters. Like Jenny obviously is a heck of a lot stronger now if you have the Klein set. So she's definitely tier 1 PvE and PvP if you have the Klein set. Because that basically it doesn't solve her movement issues. But it solves every other problem that she's got. Her lousy stats are now buffed up by another 6,000 attack. That's like having an extra, like that's more than her base attack. Her base attack is like 5,000. Yeah, her base attack is 5,000. So it's like adding her base attack plus another 800. Like, so if you could get the Klein set on her, she's monstrous. She's still a little bit squishy, like a lot of bit squishy, but she's not going to be held back so much. Like her third skill costs 176 mana. So that's another 35 mana per cast that the Klein set would remove. So now this is like 140 mana. Let's see other characters with their third skills. Frick, why can I never find one that's maxed? Chris has got like no mana, so she's not a good example. Carrot's got a huge expensive one. Jack is too. This is not working. This is not working for me. All right, here we go. 120. So it's kind of on par with Deb now. And we know Deb can just cast this all day long. Actually, I've got my Klein set on Deb right now. So like I'm casting this. I'm casting her third skill for like Jack would be the same as Jack basically for 96 mana. The only thing is, instead of having like 200 mana, I got like 350 mana. So I can just cast that like 7 times now. I still got a lot of improvement to do on this character, to be honest. I can make Deb to a monster now. She's definitely up in tier 1 now, again, with the Klein set. So there's a lot of situational characters that can be jumped up there just with the existence of the set, but it's not going to be a guaranteed thing. Like I want to put them in a situational position because a lot of players are just never going to get a Klein set. Some players are going to have it and they're going to be broken as hell. It's like if they release the God of Massacre set tomorrow, every attack character technically could be tier 1 because 7,000, almost 7,192 attack, I believe. Call it 7,200 just because it's easier. 7,200 attack and 13% crit rate. I shouldn't even call it 13% crit rate. It's 1,300 crit rate, so it benefits from all your potentials. So if you have like, what's the maximum crit rate potential? If you have the 50% crit rate plus the accessory, which is 6.7, so 56.7. If you have the 56.7% crit rate, now you have over 20%. 20% crit just from the set bonus, from the God of Massacre set, which is going to be amazing for characters like Lee, who have, like my Lee, you already know. He's not as high right now because I've got him a little bit more of a balanced build, but I'm almost at 100% crit. Now, I would be able to give myself another 5 or 6% defense with the God of Massacre set, because a lot of my pieces would become brooches. Like this ring, immediately a brooch. I forget the God of Massacre set if it's a brooch or not. Let's see. Oh, beautiful set. I love how it's like the authentic Klein piece in the actual thing. All right, so what is this? Attack my. Oh, it's a pendant too. Oh my goodness. So you could have all brooches for your other pieces. The God of Massacre set. I don't know why this chest piece is a shield. I don't know why this scythe is a sword. You'd think that this would be a mace, but I'm actually really happy that this is a sword. To be completely honest. I would prefer if it was a bow, of course, and I would prefer if this was a chest piece, of course. But let's take a look at how this set compares to ones of other levels. So a ring has 571 at 10, and a bow has 672. So a lot of other pieces of gear at different stages. This set, for example. Oh no, not this set. Where the hell are you? Is it the 4-star set? Okay, all right, let's look at this one. All right, so this gives 800 crit rate. However, a bow, and this is a sword, so 800 crit rate from that, but a bow and a ring at this stage, it's 440, and that's 575. So the combination is higher than the benefit you get from the set. There's also a 1-star set, I believe, that does the same thing. And I think the 2-star set also is in the same boat, as well as the candy set that is on event right now. It doesn't give you as much. Now this is an exception here. This one actually gives you the 800 crit rate, and this is a hit crit rate piece. This is a hit rate piece. But a lot of pieces are like this set, where that's sword and brooch, I believe. Yeah, sword and brooch. And the 600 crit rate, you would have gotten more than that if you went with a bow. What do I have a plus 10 bow somewhere? These are all bows. Where that's 400, and that's another 339. So we'll call that 738. Yeah, 738, and that's compared to 600. So usually the set gives less than what the pieces would give. But those are A rank sets. Now we're getting into an SS set, and it's giving you more crit rate than you could actually have with those pieces. On top of that, it's giving you a necklace. And necklaces at 5-star give almost every single character in the game. Any character with 8,000 or higher mastery has now got 100% mastery by having this. And it's also at a stage where the attack you get from the piece is a lot better than the proportions somewhere else. Like we're looking at the crit rate hit rate on a plus 10 ring for 5-star. It's 571. On the attack, almost 1,500. Let's go to a 1-star. Sorry, ring. All right, well, a necklace, 159. So it's 159 compared to well, let's say it's just a little bit. We'll call it like 9.5%. So, or you know what? That's stupid. Let's say it's gone up 90%. Like, sorry, there's 10% of this is like that. Basically, it's a little bit more in favor of the first one. But let's say that this is only 10% of that. Whereas the ring is 272 compared to 571. So it's gone up 300 in 4 stages. So 300, that's we'll call that 2.5 times almost. We'll call that the first one is like 40% of this, we'll say. Let's say, yeah, it's 40%, a 40% ratio difference, where this is like a 1 in 10 ratio. So this is definitely one of the best things to have, like in terms of your spread for how you're going to do your accessories. God of Massacre is like so broken. It's just so broken. So Klein set is like a softer core version of the God of Massacre set, where it's very, very amazing and hugely practical and just so badass. But if the God of Massacre set came out, like I'm saying, any PvE or PvP related character, doesn't matter what they are, they would immediately become tier 1 in both, so long as you had a GOM set on them. There's like nothing that would hold them back from that, because they'd be doing insane amounts more damage. It's a flat amount. It benefits from potentials. If you have 40% attack potential, perfect attack potentials on a character that has the GOM set, they've gained another 10,000, like 10, 11,000 attack from just that set. Just the set. Just the set bonus. Of course, the weapon has its own attack on top of that. and all your other pieces and things like that. Just the set bonuses, the crit rate, the 1300 crit rate, and the 7200 attack from the set bonuses, that works out to be like another 10 some thousand, 10, 11,000 attack, and your crit rate is like another 20% crit rate after potentials are added into that. So it's like so insanely good that they need to knock like 2,000 attack off that. Like just it's a, or they could just never bring it out. Just tease everybody in the loading screen and never bring it out, because as soon as it's out, even with the new defensive mechanisms in place, everything's just going to get killed. They need to come out with a defense piece that's like the Eldrika's Trinity, but instead it like adds 20% flat defense. So 20% defense on top of your defense. So you can have like these 85% defense tanks that just like don't get hit at all. Everybody would be running like Jack would immediately be like the only character anybody uses. Everybody will want a team of 4 Jacks after something like that happened. But that's what they would need to do to try and balance the GOM set after. Anyway, enough of that rant. But now the client set, its existence does really make area attack characters way stronger than half the other attackers in the game. Okay, who else has any kind of major changes? Jin, I think, is broken right now, and she's not good again anyway. Like, what they needed to do was give her an extra movement, and I don't know why they didn't do it. Let's see, Alfred sucks. Ian still sucks. You know what sucks about Ian? He's rock. If they made Ian paper, he might have more practicality. Or you know what? Scissors. If they made him scissors, it would be better, because in the very beginning of the game, Deb is the only really good scissor, but now with the addition of Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom might be the go-to scissor character, so people are going to be running Sonic Boom and Deb. I think on Smurf right now, I opted for Pony instead of Sonic Boom, because I am using Deb and I like the synergy and the flat damage that's going to be done there. So if you don't have amazing gear, like, you can at least count on this huge amount of damage. It's also going to be nice for farming the Rock Coup dungeons, getting right through their defense for damage over time effects, which are a lot more reliable than having to stun a target. But Sonic Boom's going to be really, really good for PvE, because you could always just make him walk even just around to the other side of the person, and you could make full use of his passive all the time. It's going to be impractical to make use of his passive in PvP on turn 2 and onwards. Square map you could fandangle around a little bit, but not on the ice map, and definitely not on the bridge map. Lily, Henry, and Lilith are not better. Like, they are not good characters because they have this cool new thing yet. They are going to be in the future very situationally good characters that you might need to raise just because Nexon, to make their new mechanics nice and good and strong, might make a map or something. It's the same. They're going to be comparable to Persona. They have the Nirvana map that makes Persona viable. Other than that, Persona's kind of a gimmick shit hero where he's got to go stand on water and swap places to like disable a character and stuff like that. Whereas these 3 characters, like, maybe you can use Lilith in the same way, where you can pull things and get them to where, like, maybe you could reach across the water and pull them on the water, like things like that. Very, very obscure, insanely situational benefits. Lily's is probably the best of these because you can kind of point and shoot whichever direction you want. So hers is going to have a lot more practical application. But they're all kind of gimmick skills. They're not like that much better. Henry's a strong hero, at least for an attack type. He's one of these attack tanks where he's a tanky attacker. With his skills, like, he can give himself some really strong stuff. So his big problem is now he's like, you're taking your attack character and you're like, launch him into the middle of everything. Your tank's not going to be able to protect your attacker. So they've given him this great set of skills that kind of helps with that kind of thing, because he's always benefited from having things around him and more targets and stuff like that. So the implication with the way that he was designed was that he's going to be surrounded in for best case scenario results for him. So they give him extra defense and stuff for being surrounded by other things. Now with the charge, it kind of just helps him enable that a little bit better. But generally, characters to go and just wipe out an area here, wipe out an area here. His is more of a make him into an overpowered person's character by launching in when you are more of a mid-range player. Whereas, like for me, for example, I would just go in with Chenny and one-shot everything there and move on to the next area. If your Chenny can only go there to 30%, maybe Henry would be a good thing to consider because he is going to be surrounded there. So his place is kind of going to lose some value the farther into the game you get, but maybe. Well, I guess you know what, that kind of sucks too because you get him in Nareed. So anyway, he's not going to be he's definitely not going to be anything that great. It would be cool if he could fire his charge skill on an angle or something like that. That would be kind of cool. Maybe if you could use his charge skill to hop over lanes in the bridge map, stuff like that. Like if there was some cool things that you can do with this that were actually practical to PvP, he might be a little bit better. But there's no real practicality for him in PvP. Like the most practical thing would be if he could actually be the tank and just everything goes to attack him, but he would die so fast. Anyway, he's still not a good hero. Like he's strong, but again, like we're let's compare him to Dominique in that sense. Dominique is stronger than Henry, and she's also a melee attack type character. And maybe she can't hit as good areas, but she can definitely kill whatever she's attacking very, very easily, strong or weak player. So definitely more practical to be using Dominique. Also, her dodge is going to protect her more than 1500 defense. Yeah, that's really all I need to say about him. Jilin, let's talk about Disarm just in general. This is another one of those things. Did Disarm get an indirect buff? Because HP percent damage and things like that don't work on a lot of hard bosses? Yes and no. The bosses that it does work on, like wonders on, it's kind of they're still tough maps to make Jilin really practical. Disarm is always going to be really good. I think that Yekaterina is going to be a heck of a lot better than Jilin. But Jilin's still a good character in terms of his Disarm still being the best Disarm in the game. Yekaterina's is a higher area, but you can always use Jilin's. There's no condition behind it. So, and the area is not going to always be like ideal for you. You're not going to be able to always fire behind you or whatever. Yekaterina is better when you walk and fire left and right instead of forward and backwards, because backwards is just going to be where your team's sitting. Jilin's still good. Definitely tier 2. His stats are just so bad that I cannot put him into tier 1. If his Disarm was like an 85%, like if it was something where it's like you just disarm and it's like almost every single time, I would probably rate him a little bit higher. But at the same time, he can't disarm the whole map. He is still bound to be attacked in PvP. Very situational hero. But in those situations, he definitely shines like a champ. Raboff, tankier disarm, still shitty movement. I don't think did he change at all? I don't think he got any changes. Pretty sure he's just exactly the same. But what's nice about Raboff is, though he doesn't have the practicality, he's got the stats. So he's got one of the highest attacks for a tank in the game. Bearman is the highest with 5,500, so this is not that far off. Definitely negligible. Tanks have very negligible differences in attack. His defense is one of the highest. I think he's third highest. This is just a shy little bit behind Bearman. His HP is like 7,000, almost 8,000 less than Bearman's, but he's a very strong tank. His mastery is perfect at 8,000, so if you gave him a necklace for the last slot. Now, your tanks generally just don't care about mastery, so you build pure defense. But he's got some good stats. Some very good stats. His movement is the only thing that just doesn't make any sense to me, because his stats aren't so good that he deserves to have 3 movement. Like, I don't think Disarm on him is good enough to justify the 3 movement. If Raboff was a 4 movement, then as soon as you were able to get Raboff, you would just immediately drop Chris, because he's so much better than Chris. But Chris is just more practical with her movement. Now she's shit right now because of the way that her thing works. But Jillen's got 4 movement also. His stats are absolutely trash. Like, when your attack is comparable to tanks, you're not good. It's just, you're just not good. His HP is terrible. His mastery is good, which is nice. His dodge is pretty good. I have to say that's pretty good too. His MP is high. Like, his stats aren't as terrible as I make them out to be, but he's definitely a high investment hero to be practical, not good, but to be practical. So, like, high investment should follow the words good hero. Jalen's still not, like, he needs a buff to his stats for sure. I think disarm is, especially in his white area, is totally OP. Like, this is like the best third skill in the game, assuming you can't just kill the target. The problem is we can kill the target. Like 90% of the time we can kill the target, so that's the only downside. But Jillen definitely did get a buff. It's an indirect buff, but he got a buff from the percent HP. Pony, definitely tier 2. One of the tops of tier 2. Almost tier 1, I'd even argue. The only downside is Pony needs a friend. Pony is not independently good, because you always have to lead. If you always have to lead with your first skill to make your third skill good, leading with your first skill to make your third skill good is not a good thing. It just is what it is. Now, Pony's passive is like the new Jack thing. Oh, I got under 20%. If you just stack a ton of defense on Pony, goes under 20%, then heals like a crap ton. I think it heals like 40 something percent or whatever. It's huge. Like, it's a huge amount that she heals. I'm assuming Pony's a girl. The second skill, that's actually just a good skill. Like, a lot of practicality is what you're looking for with the second skill. Second skills on a lot of bigger maps are the ones you're going to be running around with, firing at a lot of the time. In the late game where you have a lot of MP, maybe you can get 2-3 casts as your third, you'll probably lead with your third skill first. But a lot of times, especially in the beginning of the game and throughout, up until you have like a few 4 stars, maybe a 5-star or 2, your second skill is really, really important. And Pony's an early game hero. You get very early in the game. So this is like a really cool skill. It's very practical, increases defense and HP by amounts that are actually really good. The defense is really good. It's a very, very good amount. A huge amount of defense for this early in the game. Now, it doesn't scale very well, but the HP does, and that's important. So, Pony, great hero all around. PvE. I don't know if I want to put her tier 1 yet, but I'll probably update that later when Smurf has her kind of maxed out. I got her at 3-star right now, and she's a beast paired up with Deb already. 4-star Deb, 3-star Pony. Pony isn't doing as much damage as Deb, obviously, but I only have her third skill at level 5 right now. So I don't want it to get too expensive in mana cost. I'm pretty sure it goes up like 3 mana. Yeah, 3 mana, I think, every level. Like, oh. Alright, that's 2. But I know it's higher later on. Let me just check my phone real quick. Yeah, okay, so level 5 to level 6 is 93 to 96, so it probably scales up higher later on, too. Like, maybe in the last, like, from 8 to 10, it goes up 4 mana. So, Pony, I don't think Pony has, oh, shit. I don't think Pony has crazy mana issues, which is always nice. No, alright, so Pony's good. Right on track for, and look at this frame. It's badass. It's pretty sweet. Still curious as to how Pony got her wings through this chest piece. Still curious. Maybe metal armor actually just grows on phoenixes, and that's why they're hard to find, because mankind was too lazy to build their own, and they hunted phoenixes into the ground to get body armor. Maybe that's what happened. That's just the Fantasy War Tactics universe. Who knows? Who knows? But those are the only real huge changes that I wanna go over. A lot of the characters are basically the same. Characters like Tao indirectly buffed, but they're also already still really good. Characters that have weakening, well, except with the exception of Jin, because she's still got 4 movement. Tao's able to get right up into the boss's face and throw that weakening down. Lena's weakening with the HP percent damage is still good. Like, she's still good to use if the boss has that percent damage, because she still does have the weakening that gets applied. I believe that it still applies anyway. So like, still good heroes, good effects. Lena's still better than Jack in that sense. Whereas if the immunity's not there, she still has practicality. She also has immobilize. Like, she's just a really good hero. I think there's actually a guild called Lena Club because Lena's so OP. But that's basically it. No other major changes. It's all basically the same old. Nothing's really a heck of a lot better. Moa did not get better enough, and neither did Wang, to be honest. I said it once, I'll say it again. What Wang needs is his skills just don't do damage to your allies. What it needs to do, if an ally is in the range, give the allies a buff instead. That would make Wang insanely good at PvE because he's got great hitboxes, I think. Yeah, like they're all like the mediocre versions of the amazing ones, but they're all still good. These are all very practical hitboxes. His armor ignore sucks, like, so bad. It's almost nothing, but it's definitely not enough to actually show a huge difference in numbers. He'll like make armor go down by 1%. Whoop-de-doo. When you compare like passives with like other characters, like, Wang's probably got the worst passive in the game. Even Carrot's like it's on par with Carrot's passive. That's how bad it is. Let's see. None of these other Shark changed, so he doesn't guarantee confusion on himself, but it still has a chance to confuse him, which is stupid. Anyway, whatever. I stand by my thought that Shark is a joke of a character. His X-shaped hitbox is shit. It is so bad. Like, whatever. This is Shark's best skill. That's all. Like, this is Shark's skill. His passive is okay, I guess, if you have the terrain, which his terrain is water, which means you're not going to have it most of the time. You could give him extra terrains with gear, which would be nice. That would be kind of like for him, just to keep stacking on different things. But that's about it. Give me 2 seconds here. And I'm back. Okay, let's see. Any other actually good hero changes? I think that's it. Everything else is basically still the same. Yeah, those are the only things that I kind of want to talk about. What changes have made these heroes bad or good? Oh, yeah, just wanted to say real quick. We did the video testing weakening, percent HP damage on Lena with damage percentage, and we're just figuring out how the mechanics are actually being applied to certain characters. Certain abilities. Somebody actually asked me and said, can I test if the weakening effect also applies to percent HP damage? It does not. We actually did test it in the video. You'll remember at the beginning of the video, I actually fired twice at one of the cannons, and it did, over the 2 attacks, the 1.3 and the 1.3 or whatever, how much it was supposed to do. I think 1.3 million and 1.3 million. It totaled an amount that was conclusive with 2 attacks at the damage percentage rating that I would have had. Also, both skills hit for the same amount. When I hit it the first time, when I hit it the second time, it was the same both times. One didn't have 27% more damage, it did. So no, weakening does not affect percent HP damage. Oh, sweet, I have exactly enough genes to raise this. Well, I'm glad we did this. Alright, back to 0. Should probably check Frule. Nope. Sad day for Frule. Maybe I could just start raising his passive. I could get 2 levels on this. Yeah, whatever. It's a good passive. I'm not going to be using Frule for a very, very long time. Ah, I'm not using 2 perfect genes. Wasted this on this character. Anyway, that's it. Nirvana still sucks. Still hate him. It was the worst experience ever farming his genes. And I hated every minute of it, and he was definitely not worth it. Yep, that's it. That's all I need to say. Lee, definitely PvE, PvP beast. These skills are so practical to use. They're awesome. Like, you could basically use Lee. He just walks around firing a second skill all day. First one's not going to hit that huge, but if you find a good paper target, it will. And then he goes around hitting crosses for like as much damage as his third's going to do without it, because he's got another 32.5% crit damage. Get his passive turned on by Serenity that turn. He's getting the extra attack, the extra crit rate. Like, Lee is pretty damn strong. He got a minor buff to his skills. Now he ignores another 770 defense, as well as doing another 20% damage, roughly, with his third skill. I think they just did that to mitigate the difference in the armor mechanic now, to keep Lee kind of at the point where he's still the strongest hero in the game. Full buff, like nothing survives an attack from my Lee right now. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. I'll probably put up some more content today. We did win BOH last night, so that's pretty exciting. Got an extra 1,000 crystals. Kind of makes me feel better. Huge update. Now, this is something that I wish, like, some people were saying, had a lot of things up. Don't buy, there's a big mistake here. I was telling people the opposite, where they kind of should buy. At least in my guild, anyway. I definitely bought it myself, knowing the problem. Nexon is generally a very good company. Oh shit, I keep falling for that. They're generally a very good company when it comes to mistakes. I remember once in Legion of Heroes, you would buy your stuff, but you wouldn't actually get your points, but they would have taken your money. They did that once, and there was some problem on their end, and they ended up giving everybody who purchased like double or triple what they paid for when they fixed it. They fixed it within 2 or 3 days, and everybody got double or triple what they paid for. So I had like $1,000 something worth of the pay for currency, and I was loving it. It was awesome. I had a suspicion that the set 5-star set pull was actually just the guaranteed set for random from any piece. I had a suspicion that it might have been meant to be that, but it did clearly say 5-star black capsule set event, and I think that the value that the second package and the first package were much better, seeing as so you can't trust how gimmicky that random set thing is. So now people buying it, it's been corrected that they get it, but they have announced that the people who didn't get a 5-star set and purchased it and the impression that they would get a 5-star set, they get to keep what they got, for one. And now they are getting another one mailed to them on the next update, which is going to be a guaranteed 5-star set. So expect in the next update that 5-star set rates are going to be terrible to try and balance the game from their mistake. Whatever. I don't think that they're going to do some crazy thing like that, but who knows, right? But they're going to be fixing that, which is really cool. Amazing to anybody who actually bought the piece, but not so amazing to those who didn't. One other little thing I want to talk about real quick is costumes. All the costumes, like, people don't have to have them equipped. I might buy Lee's costume, but I don't want to. His MP recovery and counter damage suck. Sometimes I feel like having the costume because he looks cool, but I would rather have this because he's got lightning bolts and stuff around him. It's all Dragon Ball Z style, you know? Costume effects do stack. Unfortunately, costumes still suck. So don't expect that your costumes are going to be doing amazing things for you. Some characters that have tons of extra costumes might be able to do something if there's some synergy with the way that their stats work. Moss is going to be one of those characters. Yekaterina's got good stats almost on her costume, like another 1200 HP isn't bad, but her costume looks like shit, so it's a nice thing that they can turn it off because she looks way better without her costume. Who else? Who's got a lot of costumes? This is still an OP costume because it's one movement. But if you like the way that Angela looks without it, now you don't have to be like a little miniature version of Frozen something or whatever. The bunny got this hilarious costume. A lot of people just bought it because it's hilarious. I think it's pretty cool. He's just like a scissor golem now. But it's nice that they have all the effects stack even if you're not equipping one. Now, the big question is, does that make Lord costumes actually worth the investment? Because basically the Lord costume has the same effect as one of the good costumes will have, like one of the good costumes stats compared to the costume stats, but it applies to every single character. So this is like every hero's costume. Now you have 4 costumes because it's one that they have plus these 3 plus any extra ones that some characters might have. I think it's weird that they have like they have characters like Moss who've got like 17 costumes. Where the hell's Moss? He's got 3 costumes. Sorry. They're actually good. I like his things. They're high attack, high crit rate. That's 2.5% crit. 600 mastery, 200 defense, 600 health, 570 attack. Like all those put together, plus all the Lord ones, kind of makes Moss actually get a good amount of stats. But most characters just have this one shitty one that's totally not worth buying. It's just not worth buying. It's not worth buying. I don't know why they would even give a character 50 crit rate as part of their costume effect. Like, it's nothing. It's 0.5%. I totally bought this costume, though. I'm not going to buy the 4th Batterkai because I don't care about... Well, you know what? Maybe 1.5% crit. I have pretty high crit, so maybe I should buy it. But, again, the value for costume purchases is absolutely terrible. This costume just looks so badass I had to have it. I'm not even using Kai that much, though he's still really good. It's just I like screwing around with a lot of different things. I'm bored of my formation. I want to use a new formation, so I have this like dominant scissor formation right now that I'm playing out. But most characters don't get good returns from their costumes. The Lord costumes is going to be up to you. I don't think it's worth it. Though the refreshing trip to school, I would argue, might be worth it. The 200 defense isn't that much, but the crit rate is 150. So comparatively, that is the effect of 5 Lord Masteries into crit rate, the crit rate mastery. So let's just say it costs at the as the most expensive one it could be, which I think is 90. That's 9 at 5. That'd be like 450 crystals to get that. Now on Smurf, I'm gonna maybe go over some Lord Masteries. I'm like halfway through attack, and I've got all HP maxed right now, and I'll probably get another point in attack today after I play a little bit. But I'm thinking about saving up for a hero costume now on my main, but it's mostly just for aesthetic reasons. I don't actually care for the stats. If I did, I'd probably want the Black Magician again, just because mana is the only thing that's really limited in this game. It's not even that it's a good amount of mana, it's just that mana is limited. Okay, but yeah, hero costumes are still going to be subjective. I do not think that they're good, but maybe you would disagree. So it's, do whatever you want with your crystals that you burned. I'm just saying it's not worth 11 Lord Masteries at the most expensive rate they could be. It's way better to have the Lord Masteries. And it's definitely not as good as a 4-star pull of equipment if you need 4-star pulls. If you don't have like your 4-star gear done, then there's no sense. There's just no sense. Maybe you're a gambler and you want to try to get a Ghost Step set next time you come on an event. Maybe if you're doing things practically, you save up enough, you have the Ghost Step in mind, you save up your crystals, it comes out event, you try for a pull, did you get a piece? Oh shit, you got a piece, let's try the same thing again next month or whenever it comes up on event again. Like, if you're trying to go for things like that, then it's definitely not giving you enough to... Oh, from a gambler's point of view, it's definitely not giving you enough to take you away from wanting to take a better shot at a 4-star set. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. And I'm going to be putting up some Smurf stuff tonight. So I hope you guys enjoy that.